What separates a great small business owner or CEO from an unforgettable one? The answer is not in spreadsheets or strategy meetings, but in a magnetism, a force of personality, a potent blend of vision and emotional connection. We call this charisma. The concept of charisma has been analyzed and celebrated all throughout history, from the impassioned speeches of Martin Luther King Jr. To Tony Robbins bouncing on stage, or the thoughtfulness of John Maxwell. However, the power of charisma isn't reserved for political giants or celebrity icons. It's a trait that can be cultivated and harnessed, especially for CEOs of small businesses. Charisma can be the difference between a business that operates and one that thrives. Now, imagine yourself walking into a room where every ear is attuned to your voice, every eye is captured by your presence, and every heart is open to your message. This is not a talent reserved for a select few. It's an art that can be mastered with dedication and insight. In the context of business leadership, charisma is more than just a superficial charm. It's a multifaceted tool. It has the power to inspire loyalty, drive teams toward a unified vision, and create the culture where every stakeholder feels seen, heard, and valued. Now, think back to when Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone. It wasn't just innovative technology that captured the world's attention. It was the compelling way that he painted the future, making everyone believe not just in a product, but in a revolution that came to pass. When Oprah Winfrey first began her talk show, she was unknown, but people listened, not because she was a TV icon, but because of her genuine ability to connect, to empathize, and to inspire. These individuals and individuals like them that exemplify this charismatic leadership. Passion meeting purpose, where personal connection transcends mere transactional back and forth, give and take relationships. The world of small business is actually more unique. Unlike these giant corporations, small businesses are intimate. It's the CEO leader's personality, their vision, their values that have this amplified impact. And the impact, well, it can be good or bad. That's why leadership matters. The relationship dynamics in small businesses are much more personal. The challenges are immediate. They're right there in front of you, and the rewards can be deeply fulfilling. For small business CEOs, becoming a charismatic leader is not about emulating the giants of the corporate world. That really won't work. But it's about harnessing the innate strengths of close-knit teams, of direct customer relationships, and nimble operations. What does it mean to be a charismatic CEO? Now, it's not grand gestures. Again, you're not thinking about Tony Robbins, larger than life. It's not about eloquent speeches like John Maxwell. It's not about having that extroverted personality. Surprisingly, it's not any of those. It's at its core, charisma is about genuine, honest connection. It's about understanding and resonating with the emotions, the aspirations, and challenges of those around you. It's about painting that vivid picture, that vivid vision of the future, not as some distant dream, but an achievable reality. It's about instilling hope, even in the face of setbacks, offering a sense of certainty in an ever-changing business landscape, and staying grounded in a set of unshakable core values that cannot be broken. And most compelling too, it's about weaving this journey, the challenges, successions, and visions into this tapestry of stories that inspire, they educate, and they motivate. This is your primary job as the charismatic leader of your business. So while some individuals might have a natural flair for charismatic leadership, it's a skill and it can be honed, it can be refined, it can be learned and mastered with conscious effort and self-awareness. Because for every small business CEO yearning to leave an indelible mark, to inspire teams, you want to captivate your customers and create that legacy, the path to becoming a charismatic leader is not just a professional quest. It's a transformative, very personal journey. It's a journey that requires an ability to connect. The organizational leader has to bridge this gap between themselves and this grand vision and all the stakeholders that are around them. This connection that you make, that's the linchpin of effective leadership. Leading is not about being out front. It's about being connected. As the marketplace becomes increasingly saturated, consumers are becoming a lot more choosy. You know, the old adage, people buy from people, it is still pertinent even in today's technology, social media, virtual society. And it's no longer sufficient for a CEO to just have this strategic vision or well-crafted business plan. The modern charismatic CEO needs to understand the underlying desires, the emotions, the true needs of their stakeholders, from customers to team members and their vendors. It's this connection that fosters trust, loyalty, and a deep sense of commitment. Look, if you're having trouble hiring or keeping people, odds are you're not connecting with them. Knowing what they need, knowing what the customer and the team want, need, desire, and feel, that's the cornerstone of an overall holistic business experience. So let's take the insightful teachings of Zoe Chance, for example. She wrote this pivotal book about influence. Influence is your superpower. She delves into the world of influence and its intrinsic tie to connection. Influence, she says, is a superpower, but it's one that cannot be wielded without first establishing that genuine connection, influence and connection. The age-old image of the detached, hard-nosed CEO is becoming outdated. You know, just giving somebody a job and telling them to do it, I don't care, just do it, that's not going to work today. It really never worked. Instead, leaders now, they need to be encouraging. It's expected for them to immerse themselves in the world of those around them and understand their aspirations, their fears, and their motivators. Deep listening has emerged as a critical skill, and it's one that few have. It goes beyond the passive act of just hearing, but of actually listening. It involves understanding of the subtext, the recognizing the unspoken cues of the person that you're talking to or sitting in the room with you, and truly comprehending the underlying message that's being conveyed that may not be spoken. When a leader masters the art of deep listening, they begin to position themselves as someone who cares. They value feedback. They're willing to adapt, and they can evolve based on that input. When the CEO can demonstrate that their overall vision is in response to the needs and desires of those they serve, it creates an environment of hope. The leader must start and craft a vision that becomes the beacon of the enterprise. The concept of vision in leadership is not about just setting a long-term goal, plotting some distant destination on a corporate roadmap. That's not it. It's a force. It should be a compelling narrative, a beacon that shines, that illuminates the path for your entire business, the entire organization. Vision, especially in the context of a charismatic leader, is an art form. It's a synthesis of everything, of aspirations, of values, of potentials that drive the business forward in a way that inspires and mobilizes their team. You know, the world is increasingly volatile. It's uncertain. But it's the vision that provides the stability amidst all this chaos. It ensures everyone within the organization, from top-tier executives to the entry-level employee that started yesterday, has a destination, a direction, and a purpose. Jim Collins, in his book, Good to Great, is often brought up. In that book, he underscores the role of a clear vision in distinguishing companies that soar from those that are just stagnant. It's the compelling vision. It's more than just a mission statement that's written down on corporate documents or posted on the wall. It's a living, breathing entity. It infuses everything in their business, from strategy formation to daily operations. But it's brought to life, and must be brought to life, by the charismatic leader, by you. There are a few things to keep in mind about this vision. Number one, it has to be authentic. It has to be your vision. A genuine vision, your vision, cannot be fabricated or borrowed from your competitors. They outline a vision expansive enough to inspire, yet specific enough to provide direction to the team. It's a delicate balance that ensures the vision is relevant and actionable, that guides the company through opportunities and challenges. The truth is, your tactics are going to change. They have to. But the vision, that remains a beacon of your success. Keep in mind, too, this vision must include a place and a dream for your team. They must believe that you can attain it, that your vision, your dream has to drive the same emotions in your team that it drives in you. And when that happens, the charismatic leader must also ignite hope in their team. Strategic acumen, decision-making, results-driven approach, they're crucial. But it's the ability to instill this hope that sets charismatic leaders apart. Hope is not merely an optimistic outlook. It's a potent force. It will energize your team. It fuels perseverance in adversity and paves the way for that innovation and progress that you're looking for. You know, we live in a dynamic business world. There's rapid technological advancements. Markets are shifting back and forth constantly, and there's unpredictable challenges. You know, in this type of landscape, in the modern world, setbacks, they are inevitable. Could be a product line that fails to resonate, with your target audience. It could be an economic downturn that impacts revenues, a global crisis like COVID that upends the status quo of everything. Challenges are par for the course. But it's in these moments of adversity that the true mettle of a leader is tested. And it's here that the power of hope can make the difference. But how do we instill this hope? Well, one of the things in ourselves, in our managers and our teams, we have to foster a growth mindset. And a lot of people get mixed up in that term. Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on growth mindset really revolutionized our understanding of human potential. Leaders who embrace this mindset view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. Think about this. You're not approaching it as a problem. You're approaching it as an opportunity. By promoting a culture that values effort, embraces the challenges, celebrates learning from those challenges, charismatic CEOs ensure that the setbacks are met with resilience, not with frustration. This growth-centric approach, it fosters that hope. Employees believe they have the ability to evolve, adapt, and overcome whatever comes up. And when they do, we need to be celebrating those small wins. It's those incremental achievements that keep momentum going. By recognizing and celebrating small wins, leaders not only boost morale, but they also boost confidence. Each small victory serves as a testament to the team's capabilities, instilling hope for bigger challenges that lie ahead. But we also need to empower that team. Hope thrives in an environment where individuals feel empowered. If you can grant teams the autonomy to make decisions, experiment with new ideas, chart their course, leaders foster a sense of ownership. And that's what we want. This empowerment, it boosts their confidence, but it strengthens their belief in this collective potential, and it nurtures that hope and helps them perform. We are going to face adversity, but the charismatic leader must also exhibit a certain level of certainty. So what does it mean for a leader to exude certainty? I'm not implying that you have all the answers or I have all the answers. Never faltering in the face of adversity. That's not quite it. Certainty in leadership is less about the absence of doubt and more about the presence of conviction. It's about demonstrating unwavering faith in your mission, in your values, unwavering faith in you and your team's capabilities, even when the path ahead is uncertain. In an era marked by rapid technological developments, things are always changing. AI is making huge influx in all parts of the market. Geopolitical shifts, the global business market is always in flux. How do we embody the essence of certainty? Well, it goes back to that clear vision we discussed earlier. It's at the core of certainty. Charismatic leaders are not just dreamers. They're visionaries. There is a difference. They have a lucid understanding of where they want the organization to be in the future. This vision is their North Star. It guides every decision, every strategy, every action. When leaders exhibit this clarity of purpose, it radiates certainty. It assures people around them that they're on the right path. They gather enough relevant data. You're never going to have all of it. They weigh the pros and cons, and then they make an informed decision with confidence. This decisiveness, it eliminates ambiguity, fostering a culture of certainty and trust within the organization. For certainty to permeate the organizational fabric, it has to be first exemplified by its leaders. Charismatic CEOs, they walk the talk. They showcase those behaviors and attitudes that reflect the certainty that they want to see in their teams. Their actions serve as a powerful testament to their conviction, inspiring others to emulate the same. Now, earlier we talked about your vision driving emotions, but the charismatic leader, well, you also need to exhibit emotions and use emotional intelligence as a tool in your decision making. Emotion is at the heartbeat of charismatic influence. Leadership is often viewed through the lens of strategy and decision making that we talked about, and execution. But at its core, effective leadership is also rooted in the realm of emotion. The world's most impactful leaders have not merely mastered the art of logical reasoning, but have harnessed the power of emotion to connect, inspire, and lead. For small business CEOs aiming to establish themselves as charismatic leaders, understanding and leveraging emotions, that's not an option anymore. It's a necessity. It binds people together. Emotion can foster unity through experience, through commitment, through a shared purpose. But how do you weave emotion into their leadership narrative? We do it with two things, with empathy and with passion. Empathy is often considered one of the most critical emotional skills a leader can possess. Charismatic leaders, they excel in empathetic listening, ensuring they're fully present and attentive when interacting with team members. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have met high-level leaders. Even in a short period of time, in a few seconds, you feel like you're the only person in the room with them. By understanding and validating the emotions of others, they create an environment where the individuals feel valued and heard, and they're connected through that. But leaders are also passionate, and they're passionate in their vision sharing. And this passion, it becomes contagious. When leaders share their vision with genuine enthusiasm and zeal, it ignites something. It ignites a similar passion within their team. Think about some of those great businesses, whether you're looking at Starbucks or whether you're looking at Chick-fil-A, they ignite a passion in the owners, the managers, all the way down to the lowest level team members. Charismatic CEOs, they channel their emotions to articulate this compelling future, ensuring that there's an emotional undertone of their message that is acceptable and absorbed by the listener. This emotional connection transforms a mere vision statement into a rallying cry that mobilizes and energizes the entire business. As the leader, you must master the art of storytelling, weaving personal anecdotes, experience, and lessons into your communication. The emotional charged narratives that they resonate deeply, and what they end up doing is serving as memorable touch points that inspire but also guide the team. An emotional story can be an impactful tool that builds culture and builds camaraderie, an understanding of how to act and be and do in certain situations that are going to come up for your team. Emotions, hopes, and dreams are powerful forces, but they do have to be tempered by something. Now, that something is the last thing that we're going to talk about a charismatic leader needing, and that is unshakable core values. It's the cornerstone of charismatic leadership, and it's something that cannot be swayed, and it cannot be violated. For the charismatic CEO leading a small business, core values serve as a bedrock upon which their leadership style, the culture of the business, their business decisions, they're built. These values, they're much more than mission statements. It's not something on the wall. They're guiding principles. They illuminate the path forward. They provide that clarity in moments of uncertainty and strength in times of adversity. They're unbreakable, unshakable rules and values that, if broken, lead to our real failure. You probably already know some of those stories. But what makes core values unshakable? How do you as a leader, how do you ensure that these principles remain steadfast when everything is changing around you? First, they have to be your personal, authentic values. Charismatic CEOs, they invest time in introspection, identifying the values that genuinely resonate with their own personal beliefs and vision. And it is personal. They're not adopted, should never be adopted because they're trendy or they sound good or we think marketing's going to love it. They're embraced because they reflect your very essence of being a leader and of the organization that you're trying to build. And we must commit to living the values, whether it's making difficult decisions or setting organizational priorities, how we interact with team members. Successful leaders ensure that their action consistently aligns with their proclaimed values. Saying that we're going to put family first, but telling our team that they have to work every weekend or they can't go to their son's game, or I know that graduation is this Friday night, but I really need you to put in some extra hours. That's not living your core values if you say family is what's most important. So this melding of words and deeds, it builds trust, and it begins to establish your credibility as the leader. And you have to embed those values in the day-to-day. Charismatic leaders weave these values into their hiring decisions, the performance evaluations, the interactions they have with their team, and even more. You know, how do you answer the phone? How do you speak to a customer? How do you package a hamburger in your restaurant? You know, this integration ensures that values are not just a top-down mandate where you're saying do this, but they become embraced and lived by every member of the team. They believe it because they live it. One of the most important ways to reinforce the importance of core values is through decision making. When faced with choices, you as a leader, you need to use those values as your compass. How does it affect your team if you ask this question in a meeting? Well, which option aligns the best with our core values? It's a powerful question. It's a powerful question for you and for your team. By making decisions rooted in these principles, they set a powerful example for the rest of your team. Here's a final word on becoming a charismatic leader. The charismatic leader doesn't just lead. They inspire. They instill hope. They foster an environment of trust and certainty. They recognize that leadership is not about authority, but about building meaningful relationships. They cultivate a shared vision. They stand firm in their core values, even when the going gets tough. But remember, charisma, it really isn't a trait you're born with. It's cultivated through consistent effort, understanding, a sincere desire to make a positive impact on the world around you. Every small business owner has it within them the potential to become that charismatic CEO type leader, the beacon of inspiration, the force of positive change, the pillar of unwavering strength for their team and their business. Now, if this idea of becoming a better leader and business owner resonates with you, I want to invite you to join our community by subscribing, visiting us at CEOinsiders.com, sign up for our weekly newsletter. So now is the time to embark on a journey of growth, of inspiration and transformation. You can become the charismatic leader that your business deserves. Together, let's shape the future of leadership.